Welcome to Lake Olmsted Stadium, a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Here in the CSRA, we are underway. Game one of our doubleheader and game two of a three-game series, and Worley fouls back the pitch by Jay Penley, the leadoff hitter for the Mountain Lions. Count even 1-1. It's a doubleheader today between the Augusta Jaguars and the young Harris Mountain Lions. And the 1-1 pitch to Worley, swing and a miss, strike two. We apologize for some technical difficulty, and we're glad to be here with you on this Saturday afternoon at Lake Olmsted Stadium for Peach Belt Conference action between the Jaguars and the Mountain Lions. The 1-2 pitch misses downstairs to Worley for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jay Penley is on the mound for the Jaguars, a 5.40 ERA this season. And the 2-2 pitch he deals to Worley. Misses for ball 3, count is full. Penley this season, he is the winning pitcher in 2 of the 6 Jaguar wins so far. And the 3-2 inside corner called, strike 3. Worley down on strikes, 1 gone here in the top of the first. It's going to bring up Corley Reynolds. Reynolds yesterday had a interesting day, had a double and a run scored at the plate. And a busy day in the field, committed 2 errors, but also made some very nice plays defensively for the Mountain Lions to help back up the outstanding pitching performance of Michael Livingston, who pitched a 3-hit shutout, 9 innings last night, as the Jaguars fell in game 1 of the 3-game series 4-0.
Yeah, Penley off to a phenomenal start this game. Just comes up really quickly, takes care of Worley, the leadoff hitter. Not a great start for young Harris, but still have a lot outs to go.
Ball and a strike to Reynolds, and Robert Ambrose alongside Blake Collins. Blake, happy to have you join us here.
Absolutely. It's had a little bit of technical difficulties before we got started, but we're back up and running and ready to get you squared away for a doubleheader.
And Blake, we're very glad you were on the case. Ball and 2 strikes now to Reynolds. Corley Reynolds, the starting shortstop for the Mountain Lions. And the 1-2 fouled away. And Reynolds stays alive. His double on run scored yesterday's game came in the 5th inning. It was the second of 2 runs that inning and of the game at the time. For the Mountain Lions, they ultimately scored 4 runs. They scored a pair of runs in the 5th and a pair in the 9th in yesterday's game. And that's chop foul again, and we'll have another do-over.
Reynolds is working on his timing. First pitch, he was a little bit behind on a fastball, shot it foul off to the right. That time, it's a little bit of a different story. Change up inside, wrap the bat head around the baseball, but too early on that swing. So let's see if he can tighten up at the plate here and get his timing right. But for Penley, tries to pinpoint a lower part of the strike zone there, but couldn't.
2 balls and 2 strikes is now the count on Reynolds, who is making Penley work. And another foul, and we'll have another do-over. Penley yesterday came on as a defensive sub at third base in the 7th inning. Had an at-bat, was 0 for 1. And he's a very versatile player. Obviously, he played defense yesterday in the field and starting pitcher here today. And was the winning pitcher in 2 of the Jaguars' 6 wins this season, and is obviously the team leader in wins. That's in the air to right field. Back to get it. And making the catch, Harrison Moore in right field. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the first. And that is going to result in a loud round of applause by the Lake Olmsted Stadium crowd.
Backpedaling like that from Moore is the hardest thing to do as an outfielder, outside of turning your body and then going for the ball. So a great concentration effort for Moore to bring down the out. But again, Penley is similar to Meeks, who we saw last night, in the consistency of he doesn't waste much time from when he gets the baseball to deliver to home plate, and that may throw off some young Harris hitters. So right there, we've got 2 outs already on the board. Or 1 out, excuse me.
And the pitch to Jones misses for a ball, 1-0. And the 1-0 misses. It's 2-0. To Jones.
You had a really lovely pitcher's duel last night. Penley trying to recreate the same magic that Meeks had in the first inning here.
And the 2-0 misses. It's 3-0 to Jones. This is Penley's 5th start and 7th overall appearance on the mound in 2018. And 3-0 pitch, taking all the way. It's a called strike on the outside corner, 3-1 to Jones. It's going to be followed by Rudy Gaona, the team's leading hitter in just about every category, and batting cleanup for a reason. He's going to be followed then by Corey Ewald, who hit the home run in the 5th inning to break the scoreless tie in yesterday's game. And 3-1 pitch misses for ball 4. A 5-pitch walk. It's 2 on with 1 out. And that's going to bring up Gaona.
And one major adjustment that we've seen already from Young Harris from last night to today is they're working the counts more in their favor. They're getting ahead in the count, whether it be 2-1, 3-2 on a full count there, and they take the walk. But they're working longer counts, and it's paying off for him here early.
The Jaguars yesterday did a good job keeping Gaona in check. He was 0 for 4 at the plate. See if they can do it again here today. And the first pitch to Gaona misses inside for a ball, 1-0. Will be followed by Ewald. And the 1-0 is popped up, and that's going to go foul, 1-1. And that's in the air to left field. Back to the warning track, and it's off the wall. Gale was unable to come up with it. Around third, Reynolds, he's going to score. To third goes Jones. It's a double, an RBI double for Gaona, who gets his first hit of the series. And after an 0 for 4 game yesterday, off to a good start here. And the Mountain Lions take the early 1-0 lead, and Chris Howell's out of the dugout for the Jaguars, and we're going to have a mountain visit. He's going to visit with Penley and possibly get the bullpen going as early as the first inning.
That time, Gaona was thinking one step ahead of Penley. He realized the last pitch, thought about what was coming, and when he got it, he attacked it and shot it all the way out to left field. And Gale there, with a little bit of a misread out in left field, had to first come in and then adjust to backtrack, and he couldn't recuperate in time. And Young Harris striking very early here with only 1 out.
That's going to bring up Ewald. Ewald came to bat to lead off the top of the 5th inning in what was at the time, yesterday, a scoreless game. He had a solo home run, which gave the Mountain Lions a 1-0 lead. They were ahead for good the rest of the game on their way to a 4-0 win over the Jaguars in the series opener. Behind the count here, 0-1. And the right by Penley, he's going to look the runner back to third, throw to third, and now they have Jones in a rundown. And he's tagged out. So they get the lead runner, a good defensive play, as on his way to third, Gaona on the play, and Ewald on a 2-base fielder's choice sneaks over to second.
Very smart play on both ends from Penley to look back to third base to catch Jones in a rundown there. But on Jones's part as well, smart for him to stay in that rundown long enough for Gaona to mosey over to third, and then for the runner behind Gaona to shoot over to second. Smart play all the way around. Saved a run there for Augusta University with Penley on that sharp play to get the runner at third base.
Now a ball and no strikes to Campbell. Campbell, the designated hitter, Bailey Campbell, for Jaguars, came on as a pinch hitter yesterday. Late in the game, and he fouls one back, 1-1.
So it's looking like you've got Gaona at third and Ewald at second. Good speed at third, shooting on home. Bright side for the Jags is a force out will get him out of the inning.
Now that misses, and it's 2 balls and a strike on Campbell.
If you're Penley, want to try to pitch to contact, get a ground ball somewhere, throw it over the first, and retire this inning with only one run allowed.
And it's now a 3-ball, 1 strike count to Campbell. And 3-1 popped up, shallow center field. Maddox calls everybody off at short. He makes the catch. That's the inning. And the Jaguars trail it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the first. They are coming to bat here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to Lake Olmsted Stadium. The Jaguars coming to bat, trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. We'll take a look at their starting lineup here. Devin Bilardello starting in center field will lead it off. Bakari Gale in left field back in the lineup today for the Jaguars. Designated hitter in Goebel, the designated hitter Zach Goebel hitting third. Harrison Moore, the cleanup man, hits fourth playing right field. Mason Robertson in fifth at second base. And Jim Wagner, the third baseman, hits sixth. Caleb McElwaney, the number 7 hitter, behind the plate doing the catching for the Jaguars. Ty Hobbs at first base hits 8th, and Trent Maddox, the number 9 hitter, starting at shortstop.
You know, we talked about at the top with young Harris being more patient at the dish, and that helped them out in the top half for the first inning, acquire their first run. For the Jags, it's a little bit of a different story and the opposite, because they've been patient too long at times, and it's come back to bite them. So look for the Jags, at least initially here, to be patient but also be selectively aggressive at the dish and see if they can surge to secure the game-tying run.
Yesterday they looked at a lot of pitches as part of being too patient and ended up being held to a 3-hit shutout loss. And Michael Livingston going the distance yesterday for the Mountain Lions in that 3-hit shutout. And the 2-0 misses inside almost hit Bilardello. He is just able to get out of the way, and it's 3-0. on Bill Ardello. He'll be followed by Bakari Gale and then Zach Goebel. And the 3-0 is on the outside corner, and Bill Ardello took it all the way for strike one, 3-1. Wind starting to gradually pick up on what is turning into a scattered cloudy afternoon here at the lake. It was a beautiful day yesterday. The 3-1 pitch is a called strike, 3-2. Full count on Devin Bill Ardello.
It's a tough pitch for Bill Ardello to take there, but a pinpoint accurate fastball on the outer edge of the outside corner. Now the count's juiced at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And the payoff pitch hit in the air to right field, down the line. Is it fair or foul?
It's foul.
It is foul. And almost able to make the acrobatic catch, Washington in right field, who made a great effort just to get over to that ball. Tyler Washington.
You love the approach there too by Bill Ardello, sizing up the baseball, shooting it the opposite direction with that opposite field approach, and it had Washington on the run on that foul ball. Let's see if he can try to utilize that and get a base hit here.
And now here's the pitch. 3-2 pitch just misses downstairs, and Bill Ardello leads off with a walk. Good start for the Jaguars here this game, as yesterday they really struggled to create base running opportunities when they were less than 2 outs. There were a few instances where they threatened with 2 outs, but were not able to get anything out of it as a result of their lack of success with less than 2 outs. So in a leadoff walk for Bill Ardello to start the first is huge.
It's a really good start for the Jags to come up already down a run.
It's going to bring up left fielder Bakari Gale, who was not in the starting lineup yesterday. Back today here for game 1. And they're going to call Bill Ardello out at first base. And that's going to bring out Chris Howell. I'm not so sure what the situation here is. They're still discussing it, but Bill Ardello is out.
Well, there was a conversation about the bat being doctored a little bit, but still it shouldn't have warranted Bill Ardello being out because of the fact that he walked. He didn't really make contact except for that foul ball.
That's exactly right, and that drastically changed the complexion of this inning, as it looked like the Jaguars were in business finally getting a base runner with less than 2 outs. That's not the case. Now, how do you score that? That's the next question. In the scorebook. That's up Bakari Gale.
The thing is well, it definitely erases the walk, and
absolutely
don't know. Might attribute that to a strikeout, but it's a weird turn of events here, and the Jags have their first out in the bottom half of the first inning.
Count 0-2 to Gale. Just how drastically the momentum changes is remarkable.
Well, not only that, but Bill Ardello's speed on the base pads too is off the books, and that would have helped the Jags tremendously, because then you could have hit and run, steal, or something like that to keep out of the double play when he was still on. And plus, on a single, he could have moseyed from first to third, and the Jags would have had a surefire threat going on.
And that's lined in the air to right field. That's going to get down for a base hit, so the Jaguars do get a runner on with less than 2 outs by way of Bakari Gale's single. Are they going to call him out here, too? And it's going to bring up Zach Goebel, the designated hitter. 1 on, 1 out for the Jaguars. It's still a big momentum swing, as it's the difference between 2 on and nobody out and 1 on and 1 out.
Absolutely. And the thing that we were just talking about with Bill Ordello, Gale has that same type of speed too, and we always attributed, or I've always attributed him to the likings of a kind of like a Clint Hardy with a five-tool player on the diamond. Speed is one of those tools, and if he utilizes it to his advantage, the Jags will be in business.
Called strike to Goebel, 0-1. In last night's game, the second inning for the Jaguars was the only inning they had a base runner with less than 2 outs outside of the ninth inning when Moore led off with a single. And in the second inning, it was Goebel who reached on a fielding error by Corley Reynolds at shortstop. That's in the air to deep left center field, in the gap, at the wall. It's gone! Zach Goebel, a 2-run home run. And the Jaguars take a 2-1 first inning lead.
Goebel received an inside fastball, brought his hands in, and absolutely obliterated the ball. Goebel, even though the turn of events in the top half was not in the Jags' favor, he made sure to make his mark, make his stamp, and the Jags have taken the lead. That was an absolutely phenomenal at bat from Zach Goebel in that position that he was in. Didn't try to do too much with it, just went with the pitch, turned on it, and it found its way out of here.
And first runs of the series for the Jaguars as they were shut out last night. Here's Harrison Moore, the Jaguars right fielder, and that's a called strike, 0-1. And, you know, after the frustration offensively that the Jaguars undoubtedly felt during yesterday's game, as the 0-1 pitch to Moore swung on down the right field line, hooking foul into the party deck area, 0-2. Positive, obviously you've got to flush it from your memory, and it's easy to do so in baseball with such short time in between games and a day game today after the night game last night.
Right.
But another positive, they don't have to face Michael Livingston again this series.
Well, exactly, and not only that, but the Jags today are creating more consistent contact on the baseball, and it's paying off in their favor. You saw a single from Gale after the Bill Ordello walk that turned into a strikeout, and then Goebel comes up and just seizes one and has a phenomenal at bat, and the Jags are up.
Grounded to Worley at shortstop. On the hop, he fields it. Throw to first is in time to retire Harrison Moore. 2 gone here in the first. And now Mason Robertson. Jaguars with 2 runs off 2 hits. And the Mountain Lions with 1 run off of 1 hit. So here's Mason Robertson.
It's an early test for Reynolds at short, too. Yesterday, he didn't have a very good day at shortstop. He atones well for his first opportunity at short there.
Pitch to Robertson is a called strike, 0-1. And now the 0-1 pitch in there for a called strike, 2 to Robertson, 0-2, trying to extend the inning for Jim Wagner, who waits on deck for the Jaguars. A good crowd here on this Saturday afternoon in the CSRA. And the 0-2 misses, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Robertson. And now the 0-2 misses a ball and 2 strikes. Matt Szabo is the starting pitcher for the Mountain Lions. He has a 4.30 ERA this season. He's 2-1. And that's lined in the right center field. That's a base hit for Robertson. So now 3 hits this inning for the Jaguars. He's going to second, and he slides in safely with a speedy double.
Phenomenal piece of hitting there by Robertson. Got a change up inside. Brought his hands through the zone very nicely. Power balance through the at bat and through the bat, and just laces it into right center field. And his speed again is a detriment to Young Harris, as his speed allows him to migrate to second base on what was a single, but he turns it into a double. Jags aggressive early, and it's paying off for him.
Robertson's only a freshman, so expect to see a lot of him over the next few years here in Augusta. That's going to bring up the senior third baseman, Jim Wagner. We have a mound visit for the Mountain Lions as they've run into trouble here in the bottom of the first defensively against the Jaguars, and they could be in a lot worse trouble if it wasn't for Bill Ardello being called out. When you come to think of it. So here's Wagner.
Jags have definitely brought the aluminum bats to play today, as it's already 3 hits on the day, and we're only in the first inning.
They were busted for it earlier, perhaps. Here's the pitch. That misses. 1 ball and no strikes on Wagner. In conference action in college baseball, when you play a 3-game series Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in this case, Friday and a doubleheader today, you obviously normally would have the number 1 starter pitch Friday, and then the Saturday game, the number 2 starter, and obviously the number 3 in the series finale on Sunday. In this case, this weekend, it'll be later today. Ball and a strike on Wagner. Yesterday's game, based on that, was what you'd expect. 2 number 1s going at it in what was an outstanding pitcher's duel. And Livingston was able to get the better of Matt Meeks and the Jaguars in the 4-0 3-hit complete game shutout by Livingston. But it's what you'd expect, and it just shows you the Jaguars, they've struggled against number 1 pitchers. They've been shut out at home their last 2 Friday games in conference play.
Oh, absolutely. When you mix and match your pitches and change eye levels and change locations, it's hard for any team to battle and create offense when you've got that lively of a stuff as Livingston did. But Meeks, on the other hand, for the Jags, went arm for arm and hand for hand versus Livingston, only giving up 2 runs while he was on the mound. And then when he came off, the bullpen gave up the other 2, which were charged to Meeks. So a very good pitcher's duel performance last night.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here, deuces are wild for the first time in this game. The 2-2 pitch to Wagner misses. Count is full, 3-2. On deck for the Jaguars, the starting catcher, Caleb McElwaney.
Zabo is trying to, for the last couple of pitches, edge out that outside corner, but the late movement on his arsenal does not allow him to touch the outside corner.
And the 3-2, swing and a miss on the cut fastball outside. Wagner down on strikes for the 5th time in as many at-bats dating back to yesterday's game. But not before the Jaguars score 2 thanks to a 2-run shot by Zach Goebel. That put him ahead 2-1 as we go to the top of the 2nd here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. And we are back here at the lake, top of the second inning. 2-1 Jaguars over the Mountain Lions, the bottom third. Due up here for the Mountain Lions, it's going to be Washington followed by Murphy, followed by Graysick. 7, 8, 9 hitters. Here's the pitch from Penley, and it's fouled away, 0-1 to Washington.
And for Penley, this is a fresh new ball game. Coming back out after allowing one in the first. Brand new ball game. You started over. The pressure is still on you a little bit to preserve that one-run lead, but you can still pitch your game and continue to get outs without having to encounter so much pressure that you start pitching pitches to where the opposing offense can really light you up.
A called strike 3 on Washington. Down on strikes on 3 pitches to start the inning. That's going to bring up Skylar Murphy, 6-foot freshman from Winder, Georgia. Went to Winder Barrow High School. And the pitch down the left field line, hooking, foul. Just foul. Could have been trouble.
Definitely could have been trouble. Quick bat in the zone. Turns on it and sends a laser out there. Gale does all he could to try to cover the line, but if it would have hit in fair territory, then it would have been trouble for the Jags.
Most certainly. Nothing in one. One out, nobody on here in the second to Murphy. Here is the pitch on its way. He shows bunt, pulls back. Pitch misses outside for a ball 1. Count even 1-1.
As we talked yesterday a little bit too, if you're looking at bunting in this at bat to try to get on base, you want to let the ball attack the bat and deaden the ball down the third base line to be able to reach.
Waves at and misses the 1-1. It's 1-2. May have been a check swing, but he was a little late pulling back.
Yep.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the second inning for Penley. Throw down the first by McElwaney in time to complete the K2-3 strikeout.
Yeah, Penley with that dazzling sinker. There's not much you could do on a swing like that, especially when your weight has you out on front, trying to shift your weight back to at least make some type of contact. Great pitch and a great sequence for Penley to get the second out.
Graysick looks at a called strike 1 on the inside corner, 0-1 to the Mountain Lions number 9 hitter. And now here's the pitch. Swung on, blooped in the air to right center field. Moore going over, he's not going to get there. On his way to second for extra bases, Graysick has a 2-out double.
Opposite field approach for Young Harris works to perfection, explodes through the baseball after letting it travel in the strike zone for a few more seconds.
Back to the top of the lineup for the Mountain Lions. That's going to bring up Logan Worley, struck out looking, his first time up. And here's the pitch, and that's a called strike, 0-1.
Great pitch to start off. Little bit of a slider there, caught back the inside corner. Young Harris was wanting a fastball. They got an off-speed pitch, and it works as a beautiful pitch for a first pitch strike for Penley.
And time is called, and Penley's going to step off the mound. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, popped up. Foul territory, McElwaney giving it a look, and it's going to be just on the other side of the net, just barely, and goes foul, as the net may have blocked him from making a catch there. While it normally protects the fans, it obviously did there as well, but may have blocked him from making a catch.
We have a couple of poles here holding up the cargo net behind home plate, and it hit off the top of one of those poles. I don't think in the 5 years that I've been given the opportunity to call Jags games that I've ever seen that happen before.
And Worley is hit by pitch on the 0-2 pitch. And it's 2 on with 2 outs for Reynolds. Reynolds reached on the error by right fielder Harrison Moore on a drop line drive. His first time up came in to score the only run of the game so far for the Mountain Lions. That was back in the first. He bats now here in the second with 2 on and 2 out. Oh, they actually, as it turns out, they call Worley back as he did not get out of the way of that one. He swings and misses for strike 3. So Reynolds is at bat. Will have to wait until the third. And the Mountain Lions strand the runner on second. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-1 Jaguars. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. It's the bottom of the second inning. Jaguars coming to bat. They'll start the inning with their bottom third of their lineup. Caleb McElwaney, who almost made a spectacular catch on a foul ball last inning, starting it off for the Jaguars. First pitch he sees is on the outside corner for a called strike. 0-1 to McElwaney. He's going to be followed by Ty Hobbs and then Trent Maddox.
It's also a really good job from McElwaney battling the sun to try to make that catch on that foul ball too.
And the 0-1 is fouled back. 0-2.
And also on the same point, it is a little bit difficult to go from a crouch to a standing position in a hurry and then turn and try to track. So a very good job all the way around from McElwaney. Now he has a chance at the dish.
McElwaney's first at bat of the series. He did not play in yesterday's game. Time is called. As Brent Alford did the catching in yesterday's game and went 1 for 3. And now McElwaney starting behind the plate here in game 1 of today's doubleheader. The 0-2 pitch misses downstairs in the dirt. 1-2 to McElwaney.
McElwaney with impeccable vision there, realizing the rotation on that sinker and just letting it fall without an offer.
It was a waste pitch by Zabo. The pitch fouled away. We'll do it again.
We saw it a little bit last night with the Jags, and we're continuing to see it today as well. If their timing is a little bit off, they're battling through it. They're at least getting pitches to foul off, and it's also making the pitcher, in this case Zabo, work longer. And not in this early stage in the game, Jags have seen everything he has in his arsenal, and it may prevent him from going longer in this game as we move toward the middle innings.
Now the 2-2 pitch is on its way, and swing and a miss. Down on strikes, McElwaney, second strikeout by Zabo in this game. And with one out, one out, nobody on. It's going to bring up Ty Hobbs, the Jaguars' first baseman. Wind starting to pick up here at the lake. Awesome crowd here. And the pitch to Hobbs misses inside for a ball 1-0. Dean Williams, one of the stars of the Jaguars basketball team, in attendance here. And congratulations to head coach Jit Mentris on a good season for the Jaguars in basketball this year, reaching the Peach Belt Conference tournament and hosting USC Aiken, unfortunately falling in the first round, but successful year for the men's basketball program
then
this season.
I think I also see here as well volleyball star Mackenzie Beck for the volleyball team here as well, supporting all sports for the Jags. Great to see them out here.
The 2-0 misses, 3-0 to Hobbs, and volleyball had a successful year this fall too. They reached the semifinals of the conference tournament, and important note, this last year's volleyball team did not have a single senior on it, so expect next year's team this fall to return everybody. And imagine how much better they can be in 2018.
When the chemistry grows and when you have a little bit extra time on your hands and see the chemistry grow, it's more of a complete team for next year's volleyball squad, and look for them to do major damage in the Peach Belt next year.
And the 3-1 swing and a miss by Hobbs. It's 3-2.
Hobbs just got caught. He saw the fastball he was looking at. It's a little bit too high, but he swung at it anyway. And now he's behind in the count, a strike.
Fouls one away. It was 3-0. Now it's full count. And we are awaiting the 7th pitch of this at bat. And the 12th of the inning.
It's 2 straight high fastballs from Zabo. You might see a off-speed pitch coming from Zabo's hand.
The 3-2 swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Hobbs. 3rd strikeout by Zabo. Also his 3rd consecutive strikeout dating back to last inning. His 2nd this inning. 2 outs, nobody on for the Jaguars' number 9 hitter, Trent Maddox.
Yeah, that was just a challenge upstairs from Zabo with a high fastball. Didn't worry about throwing anything off speed, just challenged him, and then Ty Hobbs accepted it, but was a little bit late on the challenge, and he's back at the Jags dugout.
Pitch to Maddox, he shows bunt, he gets it down, and it's foul. 0-1. Trying to catch the Mountain Lions defense off guard there with a surprise bunt with 2 outs and nobody on. Maddox with good speed, definitely capable of a surprise bunt signal if he chooses to go that route.
Not only that, but we saw this from Young Harris too in the, I believe it was the 1st inning, drawing the 3rd baseman in. And if you swing and do just like Maddox did there, but straighten that out and serve it into left field, you draw the 3rd baseman, you have more real estate behind him to work with, and it's easier to get on base with the infield in.
Count now 0-2. He abandoned the bunt on the 0-1 pitch and crushed one foul. So now the 0-2 pitch on its way, and he crushes another one-line foul towards the Jaguar bullpen, almost the same spot as last time. So 3 straight foul balls and 3 pitches, 1 on a bunt and 2 hard swings. So Maddox showing all different types of swings here in this at bat.
It's just been a touch late on these swings and pushing a foul.
And the 0-2 misses. Count a ball and 2 strikes.
And now you have Jones backing up a little bit to try to protect that 3rd base over his head.
And that's a called strike 3. And Zabo strikes out the side in the 2nd inning. Also 4 straight strikeouts dating back to the 1st inning. If we go to the 3rd, the Jaguars lead it 2-1. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. Top of the third inning, Jaguars lead it 2-1. Facing the 2-3-4 hitters of the Mountain Lion lineup, it'll be Corley Reynolds, followed by Jackson Jones, and then Rudy Gaona. Reynolds reached on an error his first time up in the first inning. He looks at a ball here, 1-0. On a line drive to Harrison Moore in right field that was dropped, and he came in to score an unearned run. It was the only run of the Mountain Lions have scored so far in this game.
Yeah, Penley with an exhilarating, rapid 1-2-3 second inning, looking to repeat that here in the third.
The 2-0, swung on, chopped, foul, just barely getting a piece of that one, 2-1. Worley, the batter before Reynolds in the lineup, we thought was hit by pitch, started sprinting to first, and then he was hit pretty hard on the leg on an 0-2 pitch, but then it turned out that he did not make an effort to get out of the way of that one and was called back to the batter's box. Caused a lot of confusion, and we thought the hit by pitch would bring Worley to the plate. Instead, would bring Reynolds to the plate last inning. Instead, it brought Worley back to the batter's box and Reynolds back to the on-deck circle, and Worley ended up striking out for the second time in as many at-bats in this game. So now Reynolds leads off this inning, and his count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So you can take that as a gift for the Jags and Young Harris, as we mentioned earlier in the first. With that scouted, probably what was a doctored bat, it gave them a break in the first. So with the Jags catching a break there, let's see what Reynolds could do here.
The 3-2 popped up. Right field, Moore under it. This time he does make the catch. Unable to do so in Reynolds' last at-bat. Does so here, 1 gone here in the third inning. It's going to bring up Jackson Jones, 5'11" sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. Went to Kell High School. Jones walked his first time up, was stranded, or actually was caught in a rundown between third base and home plate for the second out of the first inning after drawing a walk. And that's a called strike, 0-1.
Just from a vision standpoint at the plate, you love to see the opposite field approach because they let the ball travel a little bit longer, and they can see the speed and the rotation on the ball. And then, if they choose to, swing at it. And it's a great disciplinary action here by Young Harris, going the other way with the baseballs.
A ball and a strike on Jones. And checked his swing, pulled back, but it was way too late on a nasty curveball by Penley. It's 1-2 to Jones. And he almost fell to his knees trying to pull back the check swing there.
Yeah, you can tell he wanted to turn and just rip the daylights out of the ball. Sinker, though, from Penley had other ideas.
Down the left field line, into the corner, just foul on the left side of the white chalk. It's going to bring Jones back to the batter's box. Count remains 1-2.
Penley is starting to settle down on the diamond. He's mixing his pitches better last inning and here early on in the third than he was in the first. So a good sign for the Jags and their starting pitching going on further in this ball game. You had a very good day, as we mentioned earlier, from Meeks for the Jags yesterday. Penley starting to settle back into a rhythm here.
The 1-2 pitch misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jones. On deck is Rudy Gaona, team's leading hitter. And another one crushed foul left side. That's going to land on the roof of the stadium, make a loud noise.
With Young Harris standing so close to the inside batter's line in the batter's box toward the plate, it's a very good idea from Penley on that last pitch to exploit the inside corner and make them work and try to get the bat head around on the baseball. Did so on a fouling off attempt, but a very good idea to exploit the inside corner for Penley.
And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jones, who's really made Penley work here. And that's a called strike 3, and Penley wins the battle, 2 gone.
So what do? Exploit them inside. Then you have them thinking inside corner, protecting inside, choking up on the bat, bringing the bat head a little inside, flaunt it on the outside corner, expose the outside corner, connect with it, and you're out of there. Absolutely lovely piece of pitching here from Jay Pedley.
Going to bring up Rudy Gaona, who doubled his first time up. And the double resulting in Corley Reynolds scoring the lone run of the game. An RBI for Gaona. Count now no balls and a strike on Gaona. And his double in the first inning broke out of a slump after he was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. Count now even, a ball and a strike. And time is called. Wind starting to pick up, blowing out towards the 400-foot sign in straightaway center field here at Lake Olmsted Stadium.
And it's to the point now to where it may affect some fly balls hit by any batter at the plate.
That's popped up, and the Wind this time will keep this ball in the infield. Moore is under it. He makes the catch. That'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3, go the Mountain Lions. They'll bring the Jaguars to bat in the bottom of the third on the other side of this break. We'll be back. Warm welcome to all of you back here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. The Jaguars will start the bottom of the third at the plate with the top of the order. Coming up, Devin Billardello will lead it off. His first time up, leading off the bottom of the first. He appeared to have drawn a walk, but was called out because of something to do with his bat.
Yeah, young Harris noticed that the bat did not sound right on that foul ball that Washington in right field almost ran down. They spotted it and they talked about it, and Billardello, on a weird occasion, after a walk, got sent back to the dugout for the first out.
Still not sure how you score that in the scorebook. No balls and a strike on Billardello. That's lined through the hole on the left side, on the right side. A base hit past a diving Graysick at second base. A leadoff single for Billardello. The Jaguars have the leadoff man on for the first time in this game, and this time I don't imagine there's anything wrong with Billardello's bat.
Right.
That the Mountain Lions will want to challenge.
Absolutely, and here's the thing too, with Zabo trying to establish the inside corner to right-handers, he's been working the outside to left-handers, but still the same corner. When I'm trying to do that, Billardello realized it and realized he was coming back in, brought his hands in through the zone very rapidly, and just served it into right.
Called strike to Gale. 0-1 on Bakari Gale. Gale singled his first time up in the first, and then scored on the 2-run home run by Zach Goebel, who waits on deck. Time is called. Gale will step out, take a deep breath, and a practice swing.
Zabo stepping off, trying to mess with Gale's timing.
Time is called once again. This time there'll be a mound visit to talk things over.
And mentally as well as physically, but right here with the 2 step-offs and the mound visit, it mentally messes with Gale's timing, and you could see that come to fruition in a physical form here in this at-bat. He's already down a strike.
Now here's the 0-1 pitch, and that just misses downstairs. Count even, a ball and a strike.
Gale's vision there deadlocks the count.
And the 1-1 checks his swing again, but it's a called strike 2 anyway. 1-2.
You get a little change up that just drops slightly toward the tail end of it, right back into the zone from Zabo.
And now the 1-2 pitch is on its way, and that's lined into right field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Jaguars to start this off. On his way to third, Bill Ardello on a successful hit and run by Bakari Gale. Runners at the corners and nobody out for the Jaguars. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Zach Goebel, who has already a home run to his credit in this game. A 2-run shot back in the first inning, which resulted in the Jaguars' only runs this game and gave them the lead, which they sustained to this point.
You never stop learning in baseball, especially inside a baseball game. The Jags realized Zabo was trying to establish the inside corner, adjust their plate appearances, their bats, and their offensive game entirely, and have secured 2 hits off of going the other way and bringing in the bat to meet the ball on the inside. And they have a huge threat right now, looking to punch through some more insurance runs.
And what an opportunity that is for those insurance runs with Zach Goebel at the plate. Runners going, line foul. Undoubtedly, the Jaguars were trying another hit and run with Goebel fouling that one away and Gale taking off with the pitch. Trying to create more pressure on the Mountain Lions defense here.
Absolutely, and with Gale's speed, you almost just want a straight steal because you know the catcher for Young Harris, Ewald, is not going to take a chance and fire down to second with the runner at third potentially coming home on that throw to second.
The 0-1 fouled away by Goebel, 0-2. Goebel's home run. The reason the Jaguars have the lead back in the first inning. It's 2-1 Jaguars. 0-2 to count to Goebel. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Runners going. The pitch is a ball. Throw down. A stolen base by Bakari Gale. Count 1-2 to Zach Goebel. Runners now in scoring position for the Jaguars and nobody out.
Ewald was lucky there that they didn't try to cut the diamond in half for the Jags, and as soon as that ball was released, Jag at third shoots on home. Very lucky, and a break for Young Harris, but the pressure and the threat is still at a fiery condition, as now you've got 2 runners in scoring position.
And that's going to be chopped to short. The runners are running. There's going to be only one play. That's at first, and that's a productive out as it advances the runners, and it's 3-1 Jaguars here in the third. Gale advances to third on the play, and Bill Ardello scores from third on the sacrifice ground out by Goebel, who is responsible for all 3 Jaguar RBIs in this game.
Manufacturing runs and playing ABC baseball, also known as notation ball, puts constant pressure on the pitcher. And even though they recorded an out, did Young Harris, the Jags still stretch across a much-needed insurance run.
Ball and no strikes on Harrison Moore, and the ABCs of baseball. So Blake Collins' tools for success.
Absolutely. You know, when had the pleasure of playing, that kind of was drilled into me as a unique tool to remember. Just play station to station, put constant pressure on the staff, and you see it paying off in droves now for the Jags.
Line in the left and a base hit for Moore, and Gale scores easily from third, walking home. It's 4-1. And with 1 out, runner on first, it's going to bring up Mason Robertson, who doubled already in this game. He's 1 for 1. And Bakari Gale came in to score on that play, has scored a pair of runs in this game now. As the Jaguars back-to-back singles to start the inning, a stolen base, and that stolen base by Bakari Gale when there was runners at the corners when he stole second. That is huge because that could have resulted in a double play by Goebel. The runner would have scored from third and Bill Ardello maybe anyway, you would think. But even though you never should assume the double play in baseball, it could have been a double play when Goebel grounded it to short.
Right.
And as a result, that manufactures home another run. Is on the ground out, Gale, who was on second, was able to go to third, and he's able to score easily from third on the single by Moore. 1 ball and no strikes now on Mason Robertson.
And let's not forget either that Young Harris's last conference series was against Pembroke, and Pembroke was nationally ranked at the time. They secured 2 victories out of 3, and then the Jags now are taking it to Young Harris with trying to tie this series up at a game apiece.
And the pickoff attempt is thrown away, and to second goes Harrison Moore. So now that takes away the double play opportunity for the Mountain Lions. Runner on second with 1 out. Count remains a ball and no strikes to Mason Robertson.
Yeah, the Jags now are looking to dig their teeth and make their mark in this game. Already up by 3. A fundamental mistake there from Zabo, not firing to the center of the glove, and Moore, a speedy runner for the Jags, takes his lead off at second, looking to gallivant into third.
And the 1-0 misses. 2 balls and no strikes to Robertson.
What we've been mentioning too off and on, Robert, is the fact that the Jags have had a tough time establishing consistent contact. Well, this game, they are doing an extremely excellent job at consistent contact and piecing together base hits to acquire runs. And not only that, but as we mentioned, manufacturing runs to a T, and the Jags are cooking with Crisco, and we're only in the 3rd inning.
The 2-1 pitch misses. 3 balls and a strike. And time is called. We'll have a mound visit once again. Bullpen busy for the Mountain Lions. Bullpen empty for the Jaguars. And yesterday, despite the loss, Matt, starting pitcher for the Jaguars, outstanding. 8 1/3 innings, allowed only 3 runs off of 5 hits, but he was absolutely outstanding. Struck out 11, and it was his 3rd straight start this season where he struck out a double-digit number of opposing hitters. And let's also not forget, one of his 3 runs he gave up was he left with a runner on base, and that runner ultimately came home.
That shows you how well he pinpoints his accuracy, dials up a masterpiece on the mound, and not only that, but a phenomenal quality start to his record last night as well.
Count is full to Robertson. Unfortunately, Livingston was better in a complete game 3 at shutout, and that was the difference.
And Livingston with a dynamic sinker fastball that the Jags could not catch up with, and then a curveball too that was devastating. Squandered the Jags offense, but they're making up for it here today.
They certainly are. They've scored 4 runs already and 6 hits, and we're only not even through 3 innings in this game. Check on the runner at second. Here's the payoff pitch on its way. Popped up. Foul territory. Several Mountain Lions giving chase, and it's going to land in the playground area. Count will remain 3-2. Good at bat here by Robertson. And the big positive of the outstanding performance by Meeks, going at 8 in the 3rd innings, for the most part, he's able to rest the bullpen and keep it fresh for today's doubleheader. And the bullpen is getting even more rest as of, well, still early in this one, but it's empty.
Absolutely.
Here in the 3rd inning.
And to that point, you know, if Penley can continue to go consistently 4, 5, and maybe even 6 here, it's a huge advantage for the Jags in the second game, having a full plate of fresh arms in the bullpen for the 3rd game for the Jags. That is going to be a huge advantage going their way.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Robertson. Been a good at bat. He's followed by Jim Wagner is on deck. Here in the 3rd. The payoff pitch. Runner's going to 3rd, and it's fouled back. And it affords Moore a win sprint.
Trying to execute a hit and run there.
Interesting, stealing with a left-handed hitter up. Although with more speed, why not?
Chris Howell trying to implement offensive strategy and keep the pressure stabilized on Young Harris.
Here's the pitch, and that's popped up. Foul territory. It will be Ewald, the catcher, making the catch for out number 2. That's going to bring up Jim Wagner, who would love an opportunity here to turn this series around. It's been a nightmarish series for Wagner at the plate. 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout, 0 for 4 yesterday with 4 strikeouts, a combined 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts in this series for Wagner, looking to make contact and do something productive offensively for the Jaguars.
Yeah, whether it's swinging or looking at the 3rd strike as it hits the catcher's glove, for him, try to watch the bat connect with the ball and create steady contact, and that should lift him up at the dish and hope for a better plate appearances and at-bats for Wagner.
And he looks at a called strike. Nothing in the 1, a little indecisive there on whether or not to swing. No balls and a strike to Wagner, trying to extend the inning now for Caleb McElwaney. In this game, Wagner was the first of 4 consecutive strikeout victims by Szabo. Struck out to end the 1st, Szabo followed by striking out the side in the 2nd. The 0-1 pitch is fouled away, 0-2 to Wagner.
And the thing about it, too, that's tough for Wagner is the part where he's extremely disciplined at the plate. He's seeing the ball well. He's just not being able to create that contact that you need to be productive at the plate and get on base.
The 0-2 swung on, fouled away again. So now a good at bat by Wagner. We're seeing some good swings here. When you take, Blake, a look at the conference play standings, it's really hard to draw a conclusion at this point in the season, not because it's early, but just there's just a wide range of the amount of games each team has played. Some teams, like the Jaguars, have played now as many as, this is their 14th game in conference. And some teams have played as little as 3 games. So it's a lot of disparity in that sense. For the most part, most teams have played roughly the same amount of games overall, however.
and it comes to about roughly 3/4 into the season where you won't be able to get a clear picture of how the teams are playing, especially in conference, with that discrepancy going on. So about, say, especially with baseball, about early April, you should start to see the picture, especially playoff implication pictures, play out and see how each team is faring, because with the discrepancy, there's not enough to tell at this point.
Time is called. The pitch will not count. It will obviously ultimately balance out.
Absolutely.
By the point in the season you mentioned, Blake.
And see, right now, just to give you an example, nine conference games for Flagler, sitting at the top of the division with a 9-0 record in the conference. And you have some teams that, like USC Aiken, for example, they've only played 6 conference games.
Another foul by Wagner. The Pacers of USC Aiken, Jaguars rivals from just across the border in South Carolina, they're 4-2 in conference play, 13-6 overall. The Jaguars 4-8 overall, 6-14.
And Columbus State's first conference test was here at Lake Olmsted Stadium against these same Jags. Now, the Jags are looking right now to be a very different team now than in that series, but Columbus State came in and swept the Jags. This time around, the Jags are looking to put a serious dent into their conference record and try to get back on the winning schneid. The conference record for the Jags is 4-8, so if they win today and tomorrow, they'll be 2 games under 500.
Runners go, the pitch is a ball, and a stolen base by Moore slides in just ahead of the tag. And with 2 outs, Moore not afraid to be aggressive on the base paths. Runner on third, 2 out, full count to Wagner, who was behind the count 0-2 and has been very patient since. Fouled off some tough pitches and has worked the count full. Yeah, Columbus State swept the Jaguars last weekend. That's their only conference games this season so far. They're 3 conference play. And 15-2 overall, off to an outstanding start. And Jaguars gave him a good fight, especially on Saturday and Sunday last weekend. The 3-2 pitch, another foul. He just barely gets a piece of that one. May have fouled it off his foot. But he's going to be able to shake it off.
Jags are doing phenomenally better at staying alive in the count, fouling pitches off. We saw Wagner with a very good at bat. And now the attrition from Robertson here is making Zabo work longer than he wants to.
And the payoff pitch, swing and a miss, down on strikes. Wagner for the 6th time this series, and in it many at bats. And his plate woes continue as we go to the 4th inning, but not before the Jaguars put up a pair of insurance runs and take a 4-1 lead. As we go to the 4th, we'll be back.
Caleb McElwaney comes up to the dish with a bat in his hand, ready to battle Zabo, who's still out on the mound for the Mountain Lions.
Jaguars 7, 8, 9 hitters, bottom third of the lineup to start the inning, just like they started the second inning. In that instance, Zabo struck out the side. Jaguars looking for a better result this time. And so far, so good.
Caleb McElwaney shoots one past third base. The call third base the hot corner for a reason. That got on Jones, the third baseman, very quickly and could not adjust his glove down to secure the baseball. So McElwaney, off of a screamer to third base, is standing at first base with a minor threat brewing. And now Zabo's looking to circumvent that, and his first pitch is bunted beautifully down the first base line. Jaguars execute brilliantly as McElwaney is standing at second base.
That was as beautiful a bunt as you can have. Bunted it down the line in the perfect spot to make it impossible for the Mountain Lions to pursue getting the lead runner, let alone a double play.
And Hobbs with a very exquisite bunt there gives way and gives the at-bat off to Trent Maddox to try to usher in the Jags' fifth run. Fastball soars high. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. Zabo tries to establish the inside corner, but just inches off the inside corner. Zabo comes, sets again. Wheels and deals. Fastball connects with the outside corner as he's still behind in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Maddox decides to stare at that fastball over the outside corner as it touches the catcher's glove. Zabo rapidly works back to a 2 ball and 2 strike deadlock count. That ball is chopped to shortstop. It will get McElwaney over. Maddox's speed thought he beat the wrap over at first base. And remember, folks, ties do go to the runner, but the field umpire saw the ball connect with the first baseman's glove before the foot touched first base. A very close call, but a productive at bat out of Trent Maddox as he does migrate McElwaney to third base. So the Jags are down to their last out here in the fourth, but there is a runner 90 feet from touching home plate. The sinker sinks down low. Zabo. Good looking curveball there. Curves just a little low. And Devin Billardello is ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And that ball skied into left field deep. at the back. It is out of here! Devin Billardello with a 2-run Jimmy Jack. Holy moly! Absolutely phenomenal. Got the bat head, ripped it through the zone, pinpointed that ball, and just sent it soaring over the left field fence. Absolutely phenomenal piece of hitting there by Billardello, and that will be the final stand for Matt Szabo here this afternoon. Final line on the night when we return. So a laser home run from Devin Billardello over the left field fence chases Matt Szabo from this game. And to tell you more on his final stats for his appearance here in this ballgame, I'll turn it over to Robert.
Well, it was not a successful outing for Szabo. 6 runs off of 8 hits, giving up a trio of 2-run innings, and didn't even make it out of the 4th. 2 runs given up in the 4th, and the 3rd and the 1st, and 2 of those 3 instances, the 2 runs given up were on a 2-run home run. One of them by Billardello just now, which was the final straw for him, and also giving up the 2-run home run by Zach Goebel in the bottom of the 1st, which put the Jaguars up 2-1, a lead they have not yet relinquished, and they have gradually built throughout the game since that time. Although one positive from Szabo's performance, after he gave up Goebel's home run, he was able to get out of the inning. He stranded a runner on second base in Mason Robertson, who doubled, but then he struck out Jim Wagner for the first of 2 times in this game, as Wagner's plate woes have continued. And then after he struck out Wagner the first time to end the first inning, came right back and struck out the side in the second, struck out McElwaney, Hobbs, and Maddox, resulting in 4 consecutive strikeouts. So that is the one positive area of his performance today, but overall, it was not a good one for him.
Dylan Nix is the new hurler for Pembroke and settles in nicely as he gets a 4-pitch strikeout on the first man he battles in Bakari Gale. As we migrate to the top half of the 5th inning, the Jags are lighting up the scoreboard. It's now 6-1. Murphy conks one into right field. And an absolutely tremendous start to the top half of the 5th inning. If you are Young Harris, you want to try to get as many threats on the base pads as you possibly can in a very, very hot start here to the 5th by Young Harris with that single. And now Graysick stands in. Graysick takes a first pitch strike right down the pipe. Slider cannot navigate back over the inside corner for Penley. Graysick deadlocks the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Penley comes set, wheels and deals. Check swing almost works as beautifully as a bunt. The only problem with that is it's a check swing bunt foul.
That's the frustrating thing for a hitter as it reverses the count, changing the complexion of the at bat.
It's 1 ball
drastically.
And 2 strikes. Next strike on Graysick. He is sent packing back to the Young Harris dugout. Penley delivers. Fastball inside. Quick hands inside the zone. Earns Graysick a single and moves the threat up to not only first base, but to second and first base with that runner at second, 180 feet from home plate.
And the Mountain Lions, whose bats have really struggled since the first inning. They've only had 2 base runners since they took a 1-0 lead in the first inning going into this inning. But the number 8 and 9 hitters with back-to-back singles to start the inning, this is exactly the kind of start they needed.
And not only that, but the trouble continues for Penley as the batting lineup turns over to Worley, and he bunts. Penley fields beautifully and fires a strike over to first base. Not before, though, the runners maneuver from first to second and third now, with 1 man in the books for Young Harris in the out column.
It was a good bunt to get the runners over, and obviously the perfect thing to do in that situation if you're the leadoff guy coming on with man on base, and we'll see what the umpires are going to discuss here. But nevertheless, a good play and a hard throw by Penley to get the out.
And Young Harris looks to capitalize on this threat and at least usher home 1 run here against Penley. The first pitch to the shortstop, Reynolds. Fastball with late movement. Sees that fastball go too far inside. Penley now fires to home. And that ball scorched the other way. Moore camps under it. Out number 2 is retained, but deep enough for Young Harris to fire back and obtain one of those runs they gave up, as Young Harris now creeps back up to a 4-run detriment.
The ABCs of baseball, executed perfectly by Young Harris as a pair of sacrifices, manufactures home run after back-to-back singles.
Absolutely. And now you're dealing with their heart of the order, and a lot of their power guys come from the 3, 4, and 5 as third baseman Jones stands at the dish.
And how huge would it be to get out of the inning now and strand the runner on third and not have to worry about facing the team's leading hitter, Rudy Gaona, who's on deck until the next inning.
And that ball is tapped out to right. Moore is definitely getting his exercise in this fifth inning. He puts the squeeze on out number 3. And it's the Jags' turn in the fifth to get back that insurance run if they can. We will see what happens next. Young Harris takes this opportunity to elect to go to their bench to bring out the center fielder from last night's game. He is also stationed in center field, taking over for Murphy in today's ball game. From now until this game wraps up. And Nix is still grinding out on the mound. He delivers a first pitch strike. To Zach Goebel. Goebel, who hit a towering, massive home run to kick off and jumpstart the Jags offense in the first inning. He puts a really good swing on that pitch, but just a tad late. If it would have been lower enough, one of us probably would have made that play.
Absolutely.
As that was sent over the roof here, right above the press box.
Great opportunity for the people in the press box to show their athletic skills.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As now Goebel has to try to dig out of this 0-2 hole. Challenges him with a fastball. Goebel cannot catch up to the heater, so he walks back to the dugout. And Harrison Moore for the Jags treks up to the dish. Moore also a right-hander. The advantage in this matchup will go to Nix on the mound. And that ball's skied out into right field. And the out is acquired via Washington's glove. And then Mason Robertson now has a bat in his hand, taking his hacks against Nix here. Sinker settles in below the strike zone downstairs.
Robertson doubled in this game back in the first inning.
Those patient eyes does not reward him on that strike as that nails the outside corner.
And that line also could have came to the press box if it wasn't for the net.
Muscles that one back in our direction, and boy, did that have some life on that ball when it left the bat.
Sure did.
Only about 2 seconds between the bat and when the ball connected with the cargo net. Robertson is the last man standing here in the fifth if he is retired. Check over at first. The field umpire says Robertson did not go on that check swing. Is the an even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roberts, a defensive, swing, gets a piece of it and chops it foul to the third base dugout.
What a beautiful job to stay alive and square up on that one and spoil a pitch.
And it looked like a dandy of a pitch, too. That was looking square on the outside corner, but Robertson just says he wants another one. And he laces that one to first base in a tremendous diving stab from Young Harris to close out the 5th inning. What a phenomenal play. And they're up to bat in the top half of the 6th, right around the corner. And Gaona looks to kickstart the top of the 6th with a base hit, but he's facing a dominant Penley. Still out on the mound for the Jags. Only surrendering 2 runs up until this point. And Penley is first out of the gate here in the 6th inning with 2 strikes already on the board. Sinker falls out of the zone. Gaon is trying to even up the count. Still has One ball to go before he does that. Instead, he rockets one into center. Shot that inside fastball right where Penley left it. And Gaona jump starts this offense with a single. And now the catcher Ewald will mosey up to the dish to take on and go toe-to-toe with Jay Penley. First pitch he sees is skied back out to the right, out toward the Mountain Lion bullpen. Gaona shifted the tide a little bit in the top half of the sixth with a first single of this inning. Let's see if Ewald can knock him around to second or third, or if Penley can masterfully get 2 outs here. Phenomenal pitch. Bangs in on the outside corner. Penley is working in control of the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tries to secure strike 3 on the inside corner, but sails a little wide. And that ball is stretched out to left field deep. And just like that, the tide of this game shifted as what was a 4-point or a 4-run advantage has now been chopped down to 2 off of a rifle shot off of the bat of Ewald into left field. That ball was attacked, and that ball lands right by that light pole out on Millage Road. What a great at bat, and Young Harris is back within striking distance, only down 2.
3 2-run home runs combined in this game for both teams. 2 by the Jaguars, 1 by the Mountain Lions. And let's also note, all 3 of the home runs have been hit down the left field line in a line drive over the fence. And not only have all the home runs been hit that way in today's game, but pretty much throughout the season for both the Jaguars and the opponent. So that's generally the area where you'd want to hit the ball in the stadium. It's definitely, this Lake Olmsted Stadium, for that reason, it's a right-handed hitter's park.
And the wind is helping it out too, as it's blowing from right to left. So any ball that's going to go out in left field is going to be aided by the wind.
The wind in this game has had a major factor and will continue to do so today, and likely in the second game of our doubleheader later today as well.
So Campbell, your DH, is up now. He's battled back from a hole to an even 2-2 count. That pitch walks around the outside corner to juice the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sinker comes right back. Target acquired. The desired effect is granted as a swing 3 by Campbell on that sinker sends him walking back to the dugout with his head down.
That last home run by Ewald, that's his second home run in as many games this series. Homered in the 5th inning to lead off the inning yesterday to break the scoreless tie, and homers again here in the 6th.
Yeah, that homer from Ewald was launched, and there was no doubt about it. As now, Penley ushers in a strike there on the outside corner. Sinker just below the strike zone. And that ball's belted into left center field. That ball touches the wall and on the track. And Young Harris, as well as the Jags, both teams are bringing the aluminum to this game, as the majority of the runs have come on home runs, but also there have been some runs that have been manufactured. And right now, Young Harris is threatening strong with another double with only one out.
And that will likely end the night for Penley. He pitched well in this game, despite giving up 4 runs off of 8 hits. The bullpen has been busy for a while for the Jaguars. That is the end of the night for Penley. Even though he gave up, like I said, 4 runs off 8 hits, he pitched well and obviously just ran into trouble this inning, and now the Jaguars need to do what they can to prevent a further rally here.
And one more quick thing before we break. We talked about early how the bullpen situation would aid the Jags. Their first call to the bullpen comes in the 6th inning here. Three innings away from the game being over. Penley did all he could. Did a dandy of a job out on the mound. And now he will give way to Brennan Berger. And to give you the final line on Penley's performance here today, take it away, Robert.
Well, like I mentioned before, the 4 runs given up off of 8 hits, and he is responsible for the runner Washington on second after surrendering the double. So statistically, his stats are not final just yet, but nevertheless, he did pitch very well. He only allowed 2 runs through the first 5 innings and just the 1 unearned run through the first 4 innings. So in line for the win in 5 1/3 innings of work for him. The bullpen will remain busy for the Jaguars and likely will be the rest of this game. This is a very fresh, rested bullpen, which for the most part had the day off yesterday with Meeks going 8 1/3. That's going to loom large, but right now the Jaguars just got to focus on getting through this game before they worry about game 2 later today.
Absolutely. Young Harris trying to storm back as they've sliced the lead from 2. Or they've sliced the lead from 4 runs to 2. And now there's another threat on the horizon as Berger, first pitch he throws, sails out of the zone. Sinker rides over the inside corner but sinks before it could cross the plate. So Berger is quickly trying to battle back from a 2-ball and no strike count. Good change of pace on that pitch from Berger. Acquires the first strike. And all of this especially this inning, has come with one out. Hobbs cuts in front of Robertson, fields it cleanly, transfers. Berger on the back end, ventures over to first base, one step ahead, and secures the out number 2.
Productive out, though, nonetheless, as Washington advances to third, and Hobbs, with a strong arm for a first baseman, likes to make that clear, and that was a hard throw to the pitcher who was covering, and caught the pitcher by surprise for the Jaguars, the new pitcher, as he...
Grazik stands back in. First pitch he sees soar out of the zone. Doesn't even think about lifting the bat off his shoulders. That pitch settles in the zone to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball grazes the outside corner. And Berger fires. Ball low in the zone. Almost touches the dirt. This is 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Good looking slider from Berger. Freezes Grazik there on the inside corner. Nailed it perfectly. That shuts the door on a loud top half of the 6th for Young Harris. Pushing across 2. They're still down by 2. Jags look to scrape across some insurance runs on the other side. So Berger comes in and shuts the door on the 6th inning. First man to bat here in the Jags half of the 6th is Jim Wagner, who swings at the first pitch he sees, and it's a sinker dipping low, but the first strike is accumulated. Fastball tries to nap the outside corner, but that movement settles it outside. The bullpen right now is silent for Young Harris and for the Jags respectively as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball outside corner, and that is pelted into right center field, and Wagner bounces right back off the offensive snide in a massive way with a loud double here to jumpstart the Jags' 6th inning.
And you can't think of a better way to break out of a hitting slump after going 0 for 6 to start the series in these first 2 games and a big double to start the inning. And talk about momentum swings. This momentum swing that is going on here began in the top half of the inning when the Jaguars put in Berger to replace Penley. And Berger comes out of the bullpen and gets the job done, retires the first 2 hitters he faces to get them out of an inning, to get the Jaguars out of an inning and strand a runner that Penley was responsible for on second base. And that's when the swing started, and then it carries over into this inning when when Wagner, I should say, breaks out of his hitting slump with a huge leadoff double.
Step off to check on Wagner before the first pitch is delivered. And now McElwain looks to seize the moment. And Gardner hit. Instead, he bunts. And a beautiful bunt as the pitcher for Young Harris could not make the stop. And what looked to be a sure first out turns in the other direction for Young Harris as the play could not be made. And McElwain runs over to first base and is at first base with runners on the corners and a huge insurance run at third base for the Jags. And that will set up Ty Hobbs here in a prominent position to do some damage here for the Jags.
McElwain with a sacrifice already in this game.
First pitch he sees is bolted into left field over Young Harris's the Mountain Lions' head, and the Jags, just as quick as we say, they're trying to acquire that insurance run. That insurance run shoots across the dish in a huge way off of a double from Ty Hobbs, who absolutely unloaded on an inside fastball and shot it over Worley's head.
And speaking, as I talked earlier about momentum changes and how it's gradually shifted since the top of the inning when the Jaguars went to their bullpen, well, how about that bunt single that we saw by McElwain? That's when things really started to pick up for the Jaguars, and they have started to answer. And now look at the Mountain Lions defense bringing their entire infield into the infield grass. And Maddox grounds to first, 3 unassisted, and that's not a productive out for the Jaguars as the runners hold. But the reason why they held is the Mountain Lions had their field in. So a wise decision for them to hold up, but not a productive out by Maddox.
Villardello ignited the Jags offense with a 2-run bomb to left field. He's looking to bring across and plate 2 more insurance runs for the Jags.
Villardello homered his last time up, and the time before that singled, scored both times. This was after being called out at first base after we thought he had drawn a walk.
He is definitely, you could tell he was seething a little bit after that play, and he has come to rake in the at-bats after that. He is one of 3 players. And again, there he shows he is locked in at the dish as a single plates both runners on the bags for the Jags, and they have brought their aluminum here this Saturday afternoon, plating 9 runs on the day for the Jags. Young Harris is experiencing a little bit of what the Jags have gone through all season with their bullpen. The tides have changed, though, and it's Young Harris trying to get out of this inning without any further damage here with the Jags. Soaring on offense, plating 3 runs in the 6th inning thus far. And just like in the top half with that 2-run home run for Ewald, the damage inflicted by the Jags is coming with 1 out. So the home runs today for both teams, Ewald for Young Harris with a 2-run shot. Goebel ignites in the 1st inning for the Jags with a 2-run laser over left field, and then Billardello comes back and cements 4 runs for the Jags off of a 2-run shot. 4 runs for the Jags have come off of home runs. 2 2-run shots. That's a pretty good day at the plate if you're the Jaguars. And Bakari Gale looks at a sinker low. Not only that, but they've also manufactured 5 runs on the day. Is that ball 5, 4, 3, double play to end and stop the bleeding for Young Harris. We mosey to the top half of the 7th inning. Augusta is in firm control, 9-4. So the Jags surge in the bottom half of the 6th with 3 runs to escort their lead to 9 runs in total to Young Harris's 4 to take you the rest of the way in play-by-play. Robert, take it away.
Thank you very much, Blake. For the Mountain Lions, it'll be the top of the order leading it off, and Worley chops one foul down the left field line. 0-1. This is their 3rd time in this game they start an inning with the top of the order. They started with the first. Correction, it's their 2nd time, the first and now this inning. Worley 0 for 3 in this game, a pair of strikeouts and a ground out. He struck out each of his first 2 times up and was finally able to make contact his last time up in the 5th and grounded out to first. Behind the count here, 0-1 against Brennan Berger, who is back in the game after getting the Jaguars out of a jam last inning, retiring the 2 batters he faced, forcing the Mountain Lions to strand a runner on second. The 0-2 pitch on its way to Worley. Check to swing, pulls back on a pitch that misses outside. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Worley.
Last pitch, Young Harris was full. That time around, the discipline pays off.
The 1-2 swung on. That's chopped foul once again. And the 1-2 misses outside. Count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes, so Worley with good discipline here. It's going to be followed by Reynolds and then Jones. The top 3, as Worley fouls another one back, the top 3 hit the top third of the Mountain Lions lineup in this game. Hitters 1, 2, and 3 are hitless in this one. Jones reached on a walk, and Reynolds reached on an error and scored, but those the only base runners in the top third of their lineup. And the 2-2 pitch is taken by Worley for a called strike 3 on an inside corner curveball by Berger. A nasty pitch froze Worley, who obviously thought it was going to miss inside. It broke over the plate for a called strike 3. 1 gone here in inning number 7. That's going to bring up Corley Reynolds. Here's the pitch to Reynolds. Lined off of the glove of Maddox, and that'll be an infield hit by Reynolds as he hits a hard hit ball to a counterpart short.
Reynolds didn't waste much time there. Saw the breaking pitch he wanted and then went right after it and tattooed it over to short. Tough play for Maddox on a diving attempt. Could not come up with the baseball, and Young Harris with 1 out again, starting a threat.
Now the pitch misses high and in to Jones. 1-0. He's going to be followed by Gaona. It's the heart of the Mountain Lion order due up as they look to chip away at this deficit against this Jaguar bullpen, which is busy at the moment. The 1-0 pitch misses, 2 balls and no strikes. And now a check on the runner.
Want to try to keep that 3-step lead intact and not let him get any further off of first base if you're the Jags.
Ball, no strikes to Jones. Reynolds, the shortstop, speedy runner with a great lead at first at the moment. And another check on him, and, well, that was a close one, but Reynolds does just get back.
That time, you could see Reynolds' weight shifting towards second. He had to react very rapidly to dive back in ahead of the throw, but a good decision there by Berger to shoot it back over there and see if they can pick him off.
The 1-0 chop foul, 1-1 to Jones. Aces are wild, a ball, a strike, and out. A runner on first here in the 7th. Jaguars 9 runs this game, 12 hits and 1 error. The Mountain Lions 4 runs off of 9 hits and 1 error. We're in the 7th. Game 1 of a doubleheader, game 2 of a 3-game series. Another check on the runner, and Reynolds gets back once again. Not as big of a lead that time as we saw earlier, which shows how good of a job the Jaguars are doing of holding him on. Another check on the runner. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on the splitter. It's 1-2.
Berger again finding success. starting the ball in the zone, and it rides and drops out of the zone. Very good strategy here from Berger.
Count now, a ball and no strikes. Correction, now 2 balls, count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jones. Gaona on deck. He'll hit next, barring a double play ball. And the payoff pitch jammed him. He grounds it right back to the pitcher Berger. Throw the second for 1 to first. In time for the double play, and the inning is over. Time to stretch here at the lake. Jaguars lead it 9-4 coming to bat as we go to the bottom of the 7th. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. It's a windy but warm afternoon here in this mid-March afternoon here at the CSRA. Jaguars coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Zach Goebel, who has homered in this game already. Also has a sacrifice fly, a 2-run home run, and the sac fly, 3 RBIs in this game. He swings and misses in the first pitch he sees to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Behind in the count now, 0-1. And now the pitch in there for a called strike. Now 0-2 to Zach Goebel. Harrison Moore will follow him, and then Mason Robertson due up this inning. The 0-2 swung on, fouled over the screen right near us and to the top of the stands. Screen generally does protect the fans, but not exactly sure how high it is. No balls, 2 strikes to Goebel. And here's the pitch. And that misses for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Goebel. His 2-run home run in the first gave the Jaguars the lead. They've had the lead ever since. The time of the home run, they were trailing 1-0, and it gave them a 2-1 lead. The 1-2 misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tried to get Goebel fishing there off a sinker, but the keen eyes of Goebel prevail as no offer was made.
And the pitch, that misses outside, and the count is full on Goebel. It was 0-2. He has since worked the count full. Good at bat here.
Same location, same pitch, just a little bit more inside, closer to the plate that time, but still almost in the dirt. Count now is juiced.
And the 3-2 pitch is also fouled away. Payoff pitch on its way, and another foul almost towards us, and fell short of camera, thank goodness.
Get to see our cameraman, Tim Howard, try to dive and make a stab at it if it was a little bit higher.
Tim does an outstanding job giving you the video of the game. The 3-2 pitch, and that's a towering pop fly, shallow center field. It will be the second baseman, Graysick, calling off a pair of teammates and making the catch for out number 1. That's going to bring up Harrison Moore as Goebel concludes an at-bat in which he fouled 2 pitches behind him over the net. I don't think I've ever seen it. You don't usually see that once in an at-bat, but you see that twice in Goebel's at-bat. It's going to bring up Harrison Moore.
Goebel just trickled under that baseball just a touch to elevate it out into short center field.
Pitch to Moore. Misses for a ball, 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch, that's in there on the letters and inside corner for a called strike, 1-1. And the 1-1 hit in the air. Once again, that's going to stay in the infield. And Graysick gave it a look, but he's called off by his teammate at shortstop Reynolds, and Reynolds makes the catch for the second out. So 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. That's going to bring up Mason Robertson. Robertson in this game, 1 for 3, a double, and a pair of flyouts on balls that stayed in the infield. Robertson, a speedy freshman second baseman for the Jaguars. Looks at a ball 1-0. It's a very young Jaguars team. Struggled this season, but they've showed signs of improvement with each game as the season has gone on. And that's always a good sign for a young team. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike, 1-1.
Absolutely, and the Jags have, as we well know and have witnessed this year, and a lot of you guys at home, they have had growing pains in the bullpen and on the offense, but everything today is coming together and clicking like wildfire for the Jags thus far in this game.
The 1-1, swing and a miss. 1-2 on Mason Robertson.
We've got 9 runs for the Jags on 12 hits, which is outstanding for the offense, and the bullpen has come in and done a pretty good job at closing out some innings for the Jags. So everything as far as offense and defense is in motion. They just got to complete this game.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Robertson, which makes the Deuces wild with 2 outs. There's nobody on, trying to extend the inning for Wagner. Jim Wagner's on deck for the Jaguars. And the 2-2 pitch swung on, that's chopped down the right field line and foul. Brennan Berger for the Jaguars has done an outstanding job so far out of the bullpen. And with the bullpen, it looks as though he may come out to pitch the 8th, or at least start the 8th. He has faced the minimum in the 5 outs he has recorded since coming on with 1 out in the 6th inning and a runner on second. He stranded the runner on second, retired 2 batters that inning to get out of the inning, faced the minimum in the 7th inning, which ended in a double play. And that's popped up, and the catch is made in center field. That ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Jaguars, and we head to the 8th here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. 9-4 Jaguars with the lead. We'll be back. We welcome you back to the top of the 8th inning here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. It'll be the middle third of the Mountain Lions lineup against the Jaguars, and Gaona will lead it off. Last time up, he singled and scored, also doubled earlier on in this game. Broke out of a slump after he was 0 for 4 yesterday. Looks at a ball 1-0 to Berger, who's back on the mound. The Jaguars bullpen is busy again. The 1-0. Called strike one on the outside corner, 1-1.
First pitch tries to tail back over the inside corner, unsuccessful. Then Berger, not afraid, comes right back and nails the outside corner.
The 1-1 is a called strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count now. On Gaona, team's leading hitter in basically every category for the Mountain Lions. With the 1-2 misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes, count is even. He's going to be followed by Ewald, who has homered this game as well as in yesterday's game, a pair of home runs this series. Ewald on deck.
And if you're young Harris right now, you don't want to be too patient and run yourself into outs because you're working against the clock with outs.
High hopper to third. Throw across the diamond by Wagner in time. He played that perfectly. 1 gone here in the 8th.
So now they're down to their last 5 outs. And if you're too patient, you may strike out. And your outs are going to come and be cut shorter and shorter.
They certainly will. Now down to 5 outs after the play by Wagner. Here's Ewald, who homered his last time up. And that misses for a ball 1-0. It was a 2-run homer back in the 6th, which scored Gaona, who led off the inning with a single. And that trimmed the Mountain Lions deficit from 6-2 to 6-4. The Jaguars responded with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. And now, Jaguars also assisted Brennan Berger, who came in the 6th, and got the Jaguars out of the inning and pitched a scoreless 7th. And back in that 7th inning, the double play was an outstanding play by Berger, who fielded it. He successfully managed to jam Jackson Jones, and Jones hit it right to Berger, who made an outstanding play to field it and go to second for the out to start the double play to end the inning.
Absolutely critical play there, because not only does it shut the door on that inning for young Harris, as you see a pass ball there, allows for the hitter on ball number 4 to race to first base. Not as much as you would see in like Oakland or somewhere like that in the majors, but for a minor league facility, there is a great amount of real estate in foul territory that you can work with.
And if you're on the bases and you're on third and it's a pass ball or wild pitch, there's a 99% chance you're going to score. Time is called. We're going to have a mound visit. I believe that's the pitching coach for the Jaguars on his way out. One of the Jaguars' assistants this season, Luke Miller, in his first season, a young Harris graduate as of last year, played it for the Mountain Lions, and now he's coaching against his former team for the Jaguars. That's it for Berger, but an outstanding performance by him in 2 innings, and he leaves with a runner on first and 1 out in the 8th. We will tell you all about the new pitcher on the other side of this break on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. Welcome back here to the lake. It's the top of the 8th inning. A new pitcher for the Jaguars, Ben Parr, making his 9th appearance out of the bullpen this season. A 6.97 ERA for the Jaguars. Inherits a runner on first in Ewald, who drew a walk against Brennan Berger. Berger responsible for him. And one out here in the 8th. The first pitch to Campbell is a ball. 1-0. The designated hitter for the Mountain Lions, 0 for 3 in this game with a strikeout, a flyout, and a groundout. And the pitch to Campbell is in there for a called strike. 1-1. Aces are wild. And now the 1-1 pitch in there for a called strike. 2-1-2 on Campbell.
Parr with a nice change of pace there. You can just see how much speed Parr took off that pitch as it settles in beautifully for a strike.
And the 1-2 is fouled away as well again.
He comes before with a breaking pitch and then picks right back up the speed on the last pitch. And all Young Harris could do was to foul that pitch off.
Ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss! The 1-2 curveball. Campbell can't lay off it. 2 gone here in the 8th. A nasty pitch by Parr. It's going to bring up Tyler Washington, the Mountain Lions right fielder in this game. 2 for 3. Single, a double, a strikeout. He has been caught stealing in this game. That caught stealing resulted in the end of the 4th inning. And he shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a ball on a pitch outside, 1-0.
Parr on that last at bat, splendid utilization of the corners. First pitch was outside, came back with a fastball in, then that beautiful curveball to strike out on the outside corner. He's doing the same here with trying to nail the outside on the first, and then comes right back to the outside with a pitch right on the outside corner. Absolutely tremendous pitching so far by Parr.
And the 1-1 pitch is a strike. It's 1-2. Our first 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. And the 1-2 curveball misses upstairs on the waste pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count now. And the 2-2, and that hits him. Hits Washington in the arm, and it's 2 on and 2 out. The breaking ball did not break over the plate. And it misses too far inside. And that advances Ewald to second and puts Washington on first with 2 outs. And the batter is going to be Skylar Murphy.
Parr would have liked for that pitch to slide a little bit more inside, closer to the strike zone. Just pitch got away from him a little bit, and Young Harris is brewing up a potential threat here. Runners at second and first.
Trainer's out to take a look at Washington, who was hit right in the arm. And we also have a pinch hitter, so Skylar Murphy, whose spot was due up, has been lifted, and the pinch hitter is going to be Xavier Lushington for the Mountain Lions. Lushington is 6'3", senior from Suwannee. Correction, he's a 6'5" junior from Atlanta. He's a transfer from Central Alabama Community College. The first pitch he sees this series misses inside for a ball, 1-0. And with that being said, with the pinch hitter, that means there will be a new center fielder in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Mountain Lions. And the 1-0 pitch is a called strike, 1-1. Ball and a strike to Lushington. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. And that's fouled back to the screen, 1-2. Check on the runners. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled away again, and a good at bat by Lushington off of the bench.
Spoiling some great pitches. You had a sinker, splitter in there mixed in. Spoiling some phenomenal pitches from Parr. Staying alive and trying to bring across some much-needed runs for young Harris.
Now the 1-2 misses 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch was up high. Trying to extend this inning for Brett Graysick, who waits on deck. Wind has gradually subsided here. The 2-2 pitch, ground into short. Maddox throws across the diamond to first. In time for the out. A great job by Ty Hobbs to keep his foot on the bag as the throw is slightly off, but on time. And Maddox is able to keep his foot on the bag. That retires the side. The Mountain Lions strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Lake Olmsted Stadium at 9-4. Jaguars will be back. Welcome back to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jaguars at the bat, leading 9-4. Jim Wagner will lead it off. For the Mountain Lions, we have some defensive changes, as Xavier Lushington, who pinch hit in the top half of this inning, will stay in the game and play right field. Moving over from right to center, Tyler Washington, and that replaces Worley, who moves from left field to center field. He's out of the game now.
And Jags off to a raucous start as a laser beam into right center kick starts the Jags 8th off right with a stand-up triple.
To lead off the inning for Wagner, it's going to break up McElwain, and you talk about an emphatic way to break out of a slump. Wagner was 0 for his first 6 this series with 6 strikeouts. Since then, he's 2 for 2 with a double and a triple. And a run scored, and he's 90 feet away from scoring a second run.
Best thing about it for the Jags is it kicked off this inning, so there's nobody out.
Similar to how they started the 6th inning, Wagner led off the 6th inning with a double, and that ultimately led to 3 Jaguar runs, and he leads off the 8th inning with a triple. And now the infield is all the way in for the Mountain Lions. The pitch is a ball, 1-0 to McElwain.
So now look for young Harris to keep trying to beat the ball into the dirt, to pound away at the lower part of the strike zone so that McElwaney punches it on the ground and hopefully sharply hits it to one of their infielders. But he does just the opposite and goes the other way with it. And a diving stab by the left fielder, cannot come up with it cleanly. And McElwaney, two back-to-back triples for the Jags to kick off this 8th inning. And boy, oh boy, those bats are as lively as they have been this whole entire series, this game. If this continues, look out for the Jags.
Back-to-back triples to start the inning. It's 10-4. That's going to bring up Ty Hobbs. That's also McElwaney's 3rd hit of the night. He had 2 singles earlier and now a triple, and that's going to bring up Hobbs. Infield remains in for the Mountain Lions. Ball and no strikes to Hobbs. Hobbs a double and a run scored in this game. He's 1 for 3.
We still have game number 2 coming up 30 minutes after this game. But man, oh man, the Jags offense is just absolutely obliterating the ball every chance they get. And it jumped out to a 6-run advantage. And now have a chance even on a ground ball, if it's not sharply hit, to bring in their 11th run.
Won't be easy with the infield in.
Absolutely.
And the 2-0 misses 3-0. The Mountain Lions do not want any more insurance scored by the Jaguars while the infield is in, with the Mountain Lions trailing in this one 10-4. What a difference a pair of games can make. Yesterday, the Jaguars were shut out 4-0. Michael Livingston went the distance on the mound for the Mountain Lions and gave up only 3 hits on the night. And the Jaguars really struggled just to get on base in that game. 3 balls and a strike here to Hobbs. In this game, 10 runs off of 14 hits. And only 1 Mountain Lion error. That's in the air to center field. That should be deep enough to score McElwaney. The catch is made. McElwaney tags. McElwaney is running, and he's going to walk home. And it's 11-4 on the sacrifice fly by Hobbs.
Phenomenal piece of hitting there by Hobbs. He had a fastball elevated, stayed behind, looking to shoot the other way, didn't try to do too much with it, just wanted to get it into the outfield to secure the 11th run. It's deep enough, and the Jags manufacturing like pros here today. That was absolutely gorgeous.
And first pitch swinging by Maddox down the right field line, and that's going to fall foul into the Jaguars bullpen. They had a guy warming up who had to run out of the way of that one and avoid interfering with it, as going over, I believe that was Washington in left field going over, trying to make the play and sliding into the Jaguars bullpen just short of the ball. So no balls and a strike on Maddox. On deck with 1 out here in the 8th is Bill Ardello in the top of the order. That was actually Xavier Lushington in left field, who pinch hit in the top of the inning and stayed in the game. And a line drive base hit to center field for Maddox, his first hit of this game. And the Jaguars continue to keep the bats hot as Maddox is on with 1 out. And back to the top of the order, Bill Ardello coming to bat for the 5th time in this game.
Yeah, the Jags bats are surging at the right time. And not only that, but you're getting good pitches to hit, and you're seeing consistent contact made, and that's bringing down the Thunder on the offense for the Jags here.
Bill Ardello up, and he looks at a ball 1-0. When you talk about a total team effort, every single player on the Jaguars has at least 1 base hit in this game. it's going to be really hard to look at the stats and decide one player of the game if we were to do so. That's how much of a team effort this has been for the Jaguars. And Coach Howell has to be very pleased. Obviously still work to do here in this one. Count even, a ball and a strike.
Absolutely, and for a team that kind of struggled a little bit early on with their offense, coming on strong like this is a phenomenal sign moving forward, not only in the second game following this one later today, but for the rest of the season.
And a called strike on Bill Ardello, and it's 1-2. This is easily the best offensive performance we've seen at Lake Olmsted Stadium this season for the Jaguars. They scored as many as 18 runs in an 18-16 road victory over UNC Pembroke back on February the 16th. Count even on Bill Ardello, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 pitch popped up in the air to right field. Under it and making the catch is, I believe that was Worley making the catch in right. For out number 2, that's going to bring up Bakari Gale.
And Gale's going to be a tough final and third out for Young Harris to capture, but try to do this as quickly as you can for Young Harris, and then you don't want to go down without a fight in the ninth, but the Jags have come out and really brought the whooping sticks out and has placed a huge walloping 11 runs in this ball game. Absolutely outstanding offensive barrage from the Jags here in the first game today.
The 1-0 pitch misses for a ball. 1-1 to Bakari Gale. Speaking of how tough of an out he is, he has 2 singles in this game, he has a stolen base, and he has 2 runs scored. Although he has been made the third out on 2 other instances via a strikeout and grounding into a double play, however, in this game. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, as he was able to make Gale look silly on that one, 1-2.
Yeah, Gale didn't have an idea of where the rotation was or the speed of the pitch. He was just swinging, hoping, sending up a prayer to make contact. He was way out in front.
And the 1-2 misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuces are wild with 2 outs in the 8th. Wind starting to pick up now. It was blowing pretty drastically out to left field earlier, and it may have had a factor in some of the 2-run home runs we saw in this game by either team, as all the home runs were hit out that direction. Now the wind's starting to blow out towards right center field. The 2-2 pitch misses inside, and it's count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-two pitch, runners going, and it's lined down the right field line, a base hit. Around second, Maddox, he's going to go to third. They're going to wave him around. To second goes Gale, and Maddox scores easily, standing up from first on the RBI double by Bakari Gale. Gale's 3rd hit of the night, and it's 12-4 Jaguars with the lead on a successful hit and run by Bakari Gale that turns into an RBI double.
Gale, inside out approach, locks and load on that pitch, and when he does, lets it travel a little bit into the zone and then attacks it, shoots it over first base, and with his speed, he stands at second easily, possibly if he'd have wanted to, stretched into a triple, but you don't want to run into the third out, so a good decision by Gale to stay at second base.
It's going to bring up Zach Goebel, who hit the big home run back in the first inning, 2-run shot, which gave the Jaguars a 2-run lead. They have not yet looked back. It's been all Jaguars since then, for the most part. Called strike 1, 0-1 to Goebel. Goebel is the 7th Jaguar to come to the plate this inning. The Jaguars with a trio of 2-run innings and a duo of 3-run innings. in this game, and they lead it 12-4. The 0-1, chop foul down the left field line, nothing in 2 to Goebel. Trying to extend the inning for Harrison Moore. 7 of the 9 Jaguar starters in this game have scored at least 1 run. McElwaney has scored 3 times. Gale and Bill Ardello have each scored twice at the top of the lineup. The 0-2, that misses, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And another thing, too, the Jaguars have capitalized on pitching mistakes from Young Harris this game. When they've been left in the middle of the plate, they've attacked them, and when they've tried to anchor in the corners and missed inside toward the plate, they've hacked and they've secured base hits off of those.
Called strike 3 on the knees on a nasty pitch. Goebel is down on strikes, and the Jaguars down in the inning, but not before 3 insurance runs come home, and the Jaguars take a commanding 8-run lead, 12-4. We go to the 9th at Lake Olmsted Stadium. We'll be back. Welcome back to Lake Olmsted Stadium. So we start at the top of the 9th inning. Zach Goebel on to pitch for the Jaguars. He was the DH at the start of this game. He homered in this game, and he's now on to pitch the 9th inning. So that gets rid of the DH spot for the Jaguars.
And if you're Young Harris, you still want to show resolve and resiliency, no matter how grim the outlook may be in this ball game right now. You still want to put up a good fight here in the 9th inning.
Deals a ball to Graysick. 1-0, the 1-0 pitch. Misses 2 balls and no strikes. Yesterday, Jay Penley, the starting pitcher in today's game for the Jaguars, came on defensively to play left field and had an at-bat. So it just shows you that the Jaguars have several players that are very versatile that can both pitch and play a normal defensive position at the same time and hit.
And that is so valuable to a head coach, and also to be able to play matchups here and get the best resolution out of what's presented to you on the diamond.
Fouled away. Two and two. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And down on strikes goes Graysick. He was ahead in the count 2-0. But Goebel able to battle back and throw 3 straight strikes and strike out the first batter he sees in Graysick. 1 gone in the 9th. It's going to bring up Worley.
To the eyes, that was headed straight for the middle of the plate. But then the drop on that pitch at the last split second absolutely fooled Young Harris, and that pitch wound up dropping near the dirt. Young Harris could not swing at anything but the wind, and they're sent backpacking to the dugout for the first out.
And throw the first in time. That retires Levi Whitmire, who pinch hit for Worley. And Whitmire is retired just into the game for out number 2 here in the 9th inning. And now here's Corley Reynolds, and if you're the Mountain Lions, it's game time.
Absolutely down to your last out, last breath, and last hope in game number 1 of this doubleheader.
The pitch called strike. 0-1 to Reynolds, trying to extend the game for Jackson Jones, who waits on deck. It's Jones's spot due up, but it looks like Jared Campbell is on deck getting ready to pinch hit for Jones if we get there this inning. The 0-1. Waved at and missed. And a check swing. I don't know why they're appealing on that one. But he obviously went around 0-2.
Yeah, when the bat head covers 3/4 of the plate, you definitely went around, and didn't matter if you checked or not, that was going to be a strike.
Line in the air to left field. There and making the catch is Bill Ardello, and the ball game is over. The Jaguars win, and the losing streak is snapped. A 12-4 victory over the Young Harris Mountain Lions in Game 2 of the 3-game series and Game 1 of tonight's doubleheader. And a outstanding offensive performance by the Jaguars in this game, as in about 30 minutes from now we will be set to play the rubber match of this 3-game series here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. But before we wrap it up, Blake, and get ready for Game 2, do you have any final thoughts on this one?
Absolutely impeccable offensive barrage surging here for the Jags, coming at a critical and crucial time in conference play. Couldn't ask for anything better if you're Chris Howell, the head coach, on the offensive part for the Jags. And also, too, the bullpen is beginning to shut the door on opposing offenses more frequently, and that is a major advantage for the Jags as well. And for Young Harris, you just got to shake that first game off, pretend like it never happened, come up in Game 3 ready to do battle and continue to put on the offensive display you know you can present out on the diamond, and it should be a heck of a battle in Game 3.
It absolutely should. A rubber match is always going to be a good battle, and that's what we're going to have in store for you here this evening in Game 3, beginning in about 30 minutes or so from now, give or take. We will have all the action of the rubber match here for you on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We hope you all stay tuned for Game 2 of our doubleheader here this evening and wrap up this 3-game series. Once again, I'm Robert Ambrose alongside Blake Collins. The final score here in Game 1, the Jaguars 12 and the Mountain Lions 4. We'll be back in approximately 30 minutes. Stay tuned, everybody.